Hello, my fellow Americans. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, Baltimore. Well, let's see. It's May 13th, 2015. I guess the dust has kind of settled. A lot has been said. The best article that I read about the Baltimore situation was in a yoga site, or the yoga section of a site. And in it, the article summed it up real succinctly, that America was built on racial inequality. And when you think about it, you go back to the 1700s. They came over here, sailed their boats, slaughtered Indians, took their land, brought slaves in from Africa, and then built this country we've come to know as America. And if you think about it, it just puts everything in perspective. Now, you guys know I'm not one of those ones that play the race card, or I don't think you've ever heard me squabble along those lines. But there's certain truths that have to be told. I mean, I grew up in Washington, D.C., which isn't that far from Baltimore, back in the 50s and 60s. And then in 66, moved to Silver Spring, Maryland, which is even closer to Baltimore. So that section of the country is pretty much the same. So I know what I've been through. I know what my father went through. So it's just one of these things where there's no simple answer. I mean, the problem is that they put this stuff on TV, and I watched some CNN. I was in town, and I saw the CNN live, and I saw those cops out there with the riot gear, and there's a couple of them just beating their shields. Like, they just couldn't wait to bash a head in. And I said, you know what? If you show up in riot gear, then you should expect the riot. And sure enough, that night, all hell broke loose. It was even breaking loose on TV where, why would the cops leave a cop car in the street and then walk away from it when they know these guys are just going to come and tear it up? I mean, it seems like it was all planned out from the beginning. It seems like they just wanted to use this as an excuse or false flag. But that's kind of off the subject. The thing is that there's just certain problems, and people want to point to, well, if you just do this. Well, the thing about social problems is there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. Some things work for some people in some places, and other things work for other people in other places. If you try and just do one solution for everybody, it just doesn't work well. And the whole thing is this divide and conquer. But the real problem, though, gets back to what I read in the Yoga Journal. Because if you think about it, and this has been said, that Baltimore has been run by blacks and Democrats for what, the past 20, 30, 40 years. So obviously, it's not the color of your skin that matters if you're running it. That's just obvious. And it doesn't even matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. What matters is that the system itself is flawed. It's inherently flawed. And the flaw in the system is that it allows certain people to get into office and do the things that they do. But you see, there's still not a simple solution. Term limits might help. Maybe it'd be a step in the right direction, that's for sure. But even here in Mayberry, we got a little special election coming up next week. And I think at least half of the people are running uncontested. Just the incumbents are running again. People aren't stepping up to the plate. I mean, I thought I was going to throw my hat in the ring again, but I've done it before, and I just get slaughtered by usually 2-1. So I didn't even attempt it this time. Maybe next time. I don't know. I got other things to do. I'm working on some big programming project that's more important. Anyway, back to the point. The thing about it is that it's the system that's flawed. Okay? And until we recognize that, You know, we're going to see the prison population grow even though the violent crimes have gone down. I mean, we just got this system that allows these people to get in the system and game the system and control the system, where the system was supposed to have checks and balances, where the government was supposed to be of, for, and by the people, instead of, for, and by themselves. But when we get judges saying that corporations are people, but they don't have to pay taxes like people, you know, and six major companies own, what, 90% of the media? I mean, we've just got a system that has some flaws in it. And so, you know, the whole thing about Baltimore, I mean, it was just one of those things where you have to remember, if you push people so far and you back them in the corner, sooner or later they're going to come out swinging. And the only problem with the Baltimore thing was the riots. It was just a bunch of teenagers and you know, I guess young men who just wanted to take advantage and loot and pillage and things like that. But, you know, that wasn't the issue. You see, the thing is, all their anger was directed at the wrong place. They probably should have burned down City Hall and the police station if they really have a problem. I mean, but then again, that doesn't really solve the issue, because that policeman on the street, he may or may not be part of the problem. But the thing is, if he is part of the problem, it's really not his fault. The fault is that the system let somebody like that get a badge and a gun in the first place. And until we recognize and resolve those facts and fix it and make it so that it's the exception, I mean, almost, you know, like the 0.0001 exception, I mean, we're going to keep having the same results. And it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. But when you've got people talking about, you know, taxing the rich and all that stuff, it's the wrong solution. There was something on Facebook that showed that, you know, 57% I think of the federal money gets spent on military, when I said, hey, it should be 100%. All that other stuff, the federal government has no business in it. And that's why we've got these problems, because the federal government's gotten so big that it takes all our money, and then it just uses our money to try and appease us, which is wrong. I mean, I've always said that we're doing it backwards. The bulk of your tax dollars should be local, and then you should send a little bit to the state and even less to the feds, because the federal government should be involved in protecting our borders from the enemy without, you know, keep them coming in. That should be their main goal, is to keep this country safe from invasion. You know, whether it's people swimming across a river or sneaking under a fence, or, you know, attacking us, you know, from the ground or the sea. That should be their main focus. And then, of course, is just making sure that we have, you know, keep peace within, but that should be at the state and local level, not so much the federal. It's just a mess, but once again, it's the system. When we've got, you know, people buying politicians, you know, spending billions of dollars on a campaign to get a certain person in office, when that person's only going to make maybe 6 figures a year, there's just something wrong with that picture. You know it, I know it, but what can I tell you other than wake up and smell the tyranny?